Each team has 20 minutes to present its case to the judges. I will hold up a sign for the last 10, 5, and 2 minutes, as well as for the last 30 seconds of the presentation. During the last 10 seconds, I will indicate with my fingers the number of seconds remaining. If you have not finished your presentation after 20 minutes, you will be stopped in order to proceed with the Q&A period. A Q&A period of a maximum of 5 minutes is allocated to the jury at the end of your presentation. Please note that at any time you cannot say or reference the name or the location of your interest.
A few months ago, I had a truly horrible interview. The kind of interview where from the very first question, I knew there was no recovering. Naturally, I was a little bit upset afterwards, and I went to get myself a coffee. The man in front of me in line turns to me and says, "You look like you've had a bad day. Let me get that for you." I could not believe how much this small, simple act of kindness turned my day around, brightened things up right away. But when you think about it, these small acts of kindness, these tiny expressions of human compassion, things that we can do for one another, can truly move mountains. They can inspire others to do just as good and to continue paying it forward. Good afternoon, members of the UAM Foundation. Let me first of all thank you on behalf of my colleagues Julie, Shauna, and myself, Ariane, for having us. We look forward to showing you how you can take these simple acts of kindness, these tiny little things that we can do for one another, and turn them into a successful marketing strategy for your philanthropic organization. Over the next few minutes, we'll be looking, first of all, at an analysis of this current situation. We'll be letting you know what our strategy is and showing you our implementation through a 4Ps analysis, and finally presenting an estimated budget. Now, our mandate today was to determine a philanthropic marketing solution to enhance the UAM Foundation's current strategy. So, before we dive into what our recommendation is today, I'll let Julie continue with an analysis.
Thanks, Ariane. So we'll first look at a brief overview of the industry. So in the not-for-profit industry, you have, first of all, your scholastics, such as yourself, which are really looking forward to enriching the lives of students and, of course, the education within their communities. Now, secondly, you also have the charities. Now, these are really focusing on enriching the lives of people, specifically in communities, cities, and, of course, across countries. And lastly, you have your organizations. Now, these are the big players. They are worldwide. They are world-renowned, and really not just focusing on enriching the lives of people, but of course the lives of people all over the world. Now, our main takeaway from this analysis here is that you are currently in a very highly competitive market with some very key players that you need to take a look at and take into consideration when thinking of your recommendation and the strategy we've developed for you. Now, moving on to our next analysis, this focuses really on these key competitors and exactly what they're doing. So first is our charities. Now, this focuses on your local food bank and your local humane society, who really have these events that they're trying to get your people in the community involved with. And secondly, we have our organizations such as the Canadian Cancer Society. Now, this is as well as the Heart and Stroke Foundation. Now, these are both foundations that have been around for many years. They have developed many different marketing campaigns, such as the Walkathon, and now they've also gotten into local elementary schools and getting kids door-to-door fundraising for their organization. Now, lastly, looking at your scholastic efforts with your foundation, you've stuck to the traditional route. You're focusing on getting your alumni involved and a little bit with your students. Now, in terms of our conclusion with this analysis here, you each have your own strengths. So it's important to look at what your competitors are doing, how you can kind of imitate what they are doing and adapt it to your style so that you can maximize your potential and as well your donations. Now, our third analysis looks at the donors. Who is currently donating to your organization? Now, we first have the starving students. We look at this as from the female demographic in the 15 to 25-year-old age range. Now, their income is fairly low here, and of course, their frequency of donation is low to mild, and their personality here is really impressionable. You need to impress them. You need to show that you are really worth their donations, and their donations are really needed by you. Now, their influences here are online and friends. You want to consider this when building up your the recommendation. Moving on to our young professionals, this is the male category, specifically in the 25 to 35 age range. Now, in terms of income, this is low to mild, so you want to keep that in mind when thinking of donation suggestions. In terms of personality, they are trendy, they are up on the know, they want to really be on with what is popular in the world today. In terms of frequency of donations, they are mid. They have a little more money, they've been established, they've gotten a career, and of course their influencers here are online and friends. Now, your last donor category here is the established citizens. Now, this is both male and female, people that have been out in the workforce for a while, 35 and plus. Now, their income is in the mid to high range category, so you really want to keep that in mind again when you're looking at this target audience as a possibility for donations. Now, in terms of their personality, they're with the more traditional route, specifically similar to what you've been doing already, and their frequency here is high. They're donating often and they're donating more than other people are. And in terms of their influences here, it's the direct, so your phone calls, speaking to them in person, you really want to focus on that in terms of reaching out to these people for donations. Now, in terms of our takeaway from this analysis, the greatest amount of donors are these Gen Yers, so we really want to focus on getting these people to continue donating and increasing their donations. Now, our last analysis looks at your foundation. What are you doing currently? Now, we've looked at the various different things you're using, such as your website and social media. We've also looked at your aspect in terms of looking directly with getting donations, which you're currently using the telephone, which is restricting yourself specifically to specific time periods and people who are answering their phones. In terms of Facebook, again, that's another different social media aspect. You're specifically limiting yourself to one specific social media aspect here. As well as partnerships and events. This is something you can continue to work on and really increase those donations from these aspects. Now, our key takeaway here is that UAM is currently relying on traditional strategies. You're relying on things you've always done. People who started first, their charities have started but have evolved from. So we really want to focus on, again, but going away from those traditional strategies. What are your competitors doing? You really want to focus on not taking away charity support from your competitors, but really being able to match their success. So what does this all mean? What can you take away from this analysis, and how can we use it in our recommendation? Shauna will now take you through that.
So we'll look at strengths, challenges, and threats first. I'd like to reserve the opportunities for the end. So in terms of your strengths, you have a well-established network, you're very well known, you have many great successes, you're also international. All of these really play to your strengths, and these are the strengths as in your analysis that we wanted to highlight. You also have a good reputation, which plays on this. And in terms of challenges, however, as Julie mentioned, you really need to find new outlets and to be innovative in order to market to this up-and-coming segment of Gen Yers who are currently donating quite a bit of money, but you need to retain their loyalty, play on the fact that they like to donate sort of in an impulsive nature, and really just build that and play on that. And that's a little bit challenging for you currently. A threat is that the environment's highly competitive. As mentioned, we have a lot of competitors in the not-for-profit industry, a lot of very well-established competitors, a lot of very local competitors that are closer to the different targets that you're aiming for. And there's also the fluctuating economy. The first thing to be cut out of someone's budget is most likely donations. So you really want something that is flexible, that will allow donors to donate on an impulsive and also any scale of budget. So the opportunities that we've outlined for you are to get your alumni more involved, to get your students more involved, because they will grow into the future Gen Yers. Well, they are current Gen Yers, but they will grow into your future donors. And also to play on the nature of the industry. It's a dynamic industry that isn't cannibalizing in and of itself. Charities like to work together. Yes, they cannibalize in terms of who they're targeting and they want to get the most donors, but you can use the strengths of each and every single one of the charities that you operate with and against to your benefit. So the strategy. Adopting an animal from the World Wildlife Foundation, donating to your local food bank, donating money to the UAM Foundation. These are all acts of kindness, all demonstrations of paying it forward. If one simple act of kindness does a little bit of good, even a lot of good, for multiple people, imagine the power of two combined simultaneously. This is the kind of innovative idea that UAM Foundation needs to create a sustainable marketing strategy, and these are the kinds of ideas that you have hired us to provide to you and that we're here to provide to you today. So the strategy, long story short, is to launch the Coup de Cœur multi-platform campaign. What it is essentially is you will have the Coup de Cœur campaign, which is in and of itself paying it forward. You will have a microsite separate from the foundation that is dedicated just to this campaign, Coup de Cœur. It will have a list of possible acts of kindness, random acts of kindness, that student volunteers will enact with a donation to the UAM Foundation. So not only is a donor donating to the UAM Foundation, they're donating to have someone pay it forward. So for example, you could donate $25 to the UAM Foundation, and a student could go teach kids volleyball, give them a seminar at a local school. The beauty of this is that you can partner, like we said, with different charities and play on different strengths of these different charities. Every year, you can have a new theme for the campaign. You can work with the Canadian Cancer Society. You can work with World Wildlife. You can work with a local animal shelter. You can work with a local food bank. Having different themes, different lists that can be selected multiple times by donors. And the beauty of having it on a microsite is that not only is it accessible in Quebec, in Montreal, it's accessible worldwide. You can have donations on an international level if when we grow the campaign. So, moving on, who is the target market, and why would this campaign matter to them? We suggest that you target the young professionals that we highlighted earlier, the 25 to 35, male and female, educated and employed. They have the disposable income and are in a safe position to be able to donate to charities, and this will play on their Gen Y nature. They will be able to donate in an impulse fashion, go online, click a button, select a random act of kindness that you want acted out, and the money will go to UAM and a student will act it out. And so Ariane will continue with more of the details on how exactly it's going to work.
Donc, jetez un coup d'œil à la mise en œuvre à travers les 4 P. Premièrement, le produit. En gros, qu'est-ce que cette campagne? Eh bien, il y a plusieurs éléments à considérer. Premièrement, il va falloir créer un comité. Donc, comme on a mentionné, c'est vraiment important d'aller chercher les étudiants, d'aller voir les étudiants pour former un comité, pour s'assurer d'être constamment en contact avec les gens qui sont en ce moment aux études. Donc, le comité serait formé d'étudiants qui sont en ce moment aux études, qui seraient les points de contact avec les nombreux bénévoles. Donc, comme Chana a mentionné, notre stratégie va vraiment aller chercher les bénévoles, va vraiment reposer sur les bénévoles. Les bénévoles seront des gens qui se donneront pour aller faire toutes les tâches qui seront sur le microsite. Donc, on a mentionné que les gens pourront faire un don pour que quelqu'un ait à accomplir une certaine tâche, un certain acte. Eh bien, c'est les bénévoles qui vont aller faire ça et le tout sera géré par le comité organisateur. Et après, il faudra établir la liste d'actes. Donc, il va falloir que le comité organise une liste et décider quel acte devrait être accompli par les bénévoles et quels seront les prix ou les dons qui seront nécessaires pour chacun des actes. Quelque chose d'intéressant que nous croyons qui serait vraiment motivant pour les étudiants pour participer à cette campagne serait une bourse. Donc, vous donnez déjà un montant en bourse, mais nous croyons que ce montant pourrait être réapproprié pour vraiment aller avec cette campagne. Donc, la bourse pourrait être pour l'étudiant qui s'est vraiment démarqué à la longueur de l'année scolaire à travers ce projet. Donc, nous croyons que ce serait vraiment motivant, ce serait vraiment une belle façon d'impliquer les jeunes et ce serait une bonne façon aussi de remettre l'argent dans les frais de scolarité des étudiants. Finalement, comment remercier tous ces gens? Tous les gens qui ont fait des dons, tous les étudiants qui ont participé? Eh bien, nous avons pensé, pourquoi pas faire un gala? Et encore plus, pourquoi pas le gala pourrait être un des actes? Le gala pourrait être un gala de charité. Donc, un spectacle qui est mis en œuvre par les étudiants. Les étudiants font le spectacle, un spectacle de danse, un spectacle de chant. Les talents pourraient vraiment être mis sur l'estrade et en même temps, on pourrait aller chercher des fonds qui continueraient à augmenter le total de cette campagne. Donc, au niveau de la place ou de la distribution et du prix, voici un exemple de ce que pourrait avoir l'air votre microsite. Donc, la campagne Coup de cœur aurait son propre site web qui aurait une liste de tous les actes possibles. Donc, comme Chana a mentionné, on pourrait aller faire du bénévolat à une maison pour les gens sans abri, pourrait aller faire du bénévolat dans un hébergement pour les animaux. Il y aurait vraiment une tonne de choses que les étudiants préfèrent et chacun des actes aurait un certain prix. Donc, les petits actes, un petit prix, les gros actes, un gros prix Et sur la liste, on pourrait aussi mettre le gala. Donc, les gens pourraient contribuer directement au gala à travers le microsite de la campagne coup de cœur. Et elle aurait un peu avoir l'air de ça. Donc, pour passer à la promotion, nous voulons vraiment être conservateurs au niveau du budget ici, mais il y a quand même plusieurs choses que vous pouvez faire pour promouvoir cette campagne. Donc, premièrement, chacun des actes pourrait être filmé et mis sur YouTube pour vraiment engendrer la conversation, pour que les gens se partagent les idées au sujet de cette campagne. Donc, chaque acte pourrait être filmé, mis sur YouTube, sur un post qui est juste pour la campagne, et le comité pourrait s'assurer de gérer tout ça. Le post YouTube pourrait être lié à votre page Facebook, qui existe déjà. Il faudrait simplement la changer un petit peu pour la campagne. Et aussi, nous suggérons d'ajouter Twitter. Twitter est un média qui est vraiment très social. Les gens partagent l'information très, très rapidement. Ce serait une bonne façon d'aller afficher tous les actes qui sont accomplis. Nous pensons aussi qu'utiliser les médias et le marketing que vous faites déjà pourrait vraiment bénéficier à la campagne. Donc, allez mettre un article, un petit peu d'informations au sujet de la campagne coup de cœur dans vos publications actuelles et incorporer un petit peu d'informations sur la campagne dans votre télémarketing que vous faites déjà. Finalement, nous croyons aussi que les partenariats pourraient vraiment vous aider à ce point-ci. On a mentionné que les charités aiment travailler ensemble. On pourrait vraiment aller chercher de l'intérêt en allant chercher un partenaire. Donc, chaque année, il pourrait y avoir un partenaire différent, un thème différent, que ce soit la Société canadienne du cancer, que ce soit vraiment n'importe quoi. On pourrait vraiment aller agrandir l'intérêt à partir de ces partenariats-là. Donc, je vais passer la parole à Chana pour passer à travers le budget.
Donc, rapidement, on a fait un petit budget pour incorporer tous les éléments. On a vraiment essayé de garder la stratégie à des coûts assez minimes. Nous comprenons que le gala à 20 000 $ serait probablement la plus grande dépense. Lancer un gala, c'est quelque chose qui prend beaucoup d'efforts, mais la majorité de cet argent, vous pouvez aller chercher en dons. On a expliqué que vous pouvez avoir un comité d'étudiants. Ces étudiants pourraient avoir, par exemple, un VP partenariat qui pourrait aller chercher et raviver le domaine de partenariat professionnel ou avec des entreprises qui pourraient, en tour, donner de l'argent pour subventionner le gala. Donc, pour la bourse, on suggérait du 18 % que vous allouez en bourse, d'avoir une bourse de 2 500 $ pour la bourse coup de cœur. Pour l'étudiant qui se démarque, vous pouvez faire des entrevues pour assurer que vous choisissez le meilleur candidat et qu'il ou elle mérite vraiment la bourse. Pour ce qui est en ligne, créer le microsite, les photos, les vidéos YouTube, etc., on a alloué 2 000 $. 2 000 $, c'est très petit, mais vous pouvez utiliser des plateformes, par exemple, Joomla ou Drupal ou des sites gratuits pour créer votre site web. Et puisque la Fondation a déjà sûrement des médias et des images, etc., tout leur marketing de près, vous pouvez simplement l'insérer dans ce que vous voulez en ligne. Au niveau du frais de comité, 1 000 $, ça serait un budget opérationnel un peu pour initialement avoir des caméras pour filmer les vidéos, etc., parce que vous voulez vraiment avoir du contenu qui est très riche, de qualité, pour vraiment parler à la qualité de votre fondation, et pour un total de 25 500 $. On a fait quelques estimations par rapport aux revenus qu'on souhaite que vous atteigniez, et ce sont, dans la première année, 15 000 $. Si vous regardez la structure de la liste, puis la durée de la campagne, vous pouvez la faire à l'année longue de l'année scolaire, la débuter en septembre, la faire jusqu'en avril. Et comme ça, vous pouvez facilement atteindre ce niveau puisque c'est renouvelable et vous pouvez lancer plusieurs différentes listes pendant l'année pour que ce soit facile à régénérer des revenus. On espère une croissance de 10 % sur le 15 000 sûrement, pour 16 500, ensuite 15 % croissant de 5 % par année, à 18 975 et ensuite 22 770. Donc, ça se paierait en tout en 4 années, ce qui est très bien pour le domaine de sans profit. Donc, en continuant,
what happens if we have these risks, for example? There's low awareness. Well, we'd look at a sponsorship from STM, looking at transit advertising in their bus stations, at their subway stations, inside buses, on the side of buses. We really want to raise awareness not just to the student population, but of course those young professionals, and really get the awareness out there of what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish. Now, the other risk we have here is low student interest. Students actually don't know about it, or they really aren't wanting to get involved with such an idea. Now, we really want to focus here on getting the young people who are coming in first year in Frosh Week, getting them involved, getting them in the know on what we do and how really they're going to be helping their school in the end. And of course, we want to approach existing clubs, to executives who might want to get involved in running this club and making it better, and really just enriching not only their school student life, but of course their school and the education overall for all students.
Paying it forward. Many simple acts of kindness can really benefit in a great way. If you use the synergy of 2 acts of kindness simultaneously, you can not only benefit a huge community, but you can benefit yourselves. So please, pay it forward and choose our solution. Thank you.
It's an interesting recommendation. My first question, though, is why are we targeting young professionals? Baby boomers are the largest segment that donate. They have more disposable income. So why young professionals specifically?
Young professionals in terms of sustainability. So we touched on it very briefly, but we would hope that you would integrate our solution also into your traditional media. So you still would reach your current target market of baby boomers through your traditional media. For example, in your publication, you could have the list of items that they could pay for, and they could still choose over the telephone to donate to a certain random act of kindness, paying it forward. So you're not losing the current business that you have, but you're creating a more sustainable one by targeting these people, and it will carry through when they become the baby boomers age. And by having the student volunteers when they graduate and become alumni and young professionals, it's carrying through, and sort of they'll pay it forward.
I really like the idea of the kukar. Is there a way that you can integrate or incorporate corporations more into this act? Because this seems to be really targeting an individual, a graduate, someone who's a young professional. So how can I get the corporations that still represent about 22% of my revenues involved in this campaign?
Well, 3 different things. We believe that we can get sponsorship from those corporations. First of all, we can get them to sponsor from the very first year the gala. The gala is a big expense, and if we're able to get a big partner, a big name tied to it, it could really, really take off. And as we grow, as the campaign gets bigger, we believe that the campaign will get notoriety and also get interest from all those industry professionals and from the businesses themselves.
When is all this happening? When can we start?
So you can essentially start as soon as you like. The only real downtime that you need is to build the committee and to get the volunteers to commit to a certain list and to create that list. But I mean, there are endless opportunities to create the list. So you could start, for example, this semester in January with the UAM students, go start reaching out to them, and then launch in September, for example. I think that would be a very feasible date to start the campaign itself.
One of our biggest issues is getting repeat donations from individuals. What can you do? Let's say you do the kukar type fundraiser year after year. What can you do to have a call to memory or incite people to come back and do it again once they've experienced it? So
the beauty of a microsite is you can ask users before donating to enter some simple demographic data. For example, an email, age, et cetera, so that you have a database pulled from this microsite, and you can do callbacks for the people that might not be so interested in microsites, or you can send emails, you can send reminders, you can send them just videos of good acts, kind acts that are being done, and just remind them that this is doing so much good. And so,
what do you think is the most personal? Just because we have a lot of trouble connecting on a personal level, because that's really what draws people in to give more. What do you think is the best one that we could use to bring them back?
I think that emailing the videos, approaching people, not asking for help, but just showing the good that it does, is really the best that you can do. When they know that not only they're contributing to research and investment in a university and students' futures, but also animal shelters and Canadian Cancer Society, et cetera, they'll really connect with the cause, and that's what causes repeats, is that they really feel for the cause.
The cost of your gala is not expensive. In fact, you know, it's too high because the amount of money that you're collecting is less than the cost of your actual gala. Is it necessary?
It definitely could be cut in terms of the expense. I think that having a gala or having some sort of capstone event at the end to recognize the volunteers, to recognize everyone who gave to this cause is important. However, it could be downsized. $20,000 for a gala is ideal, and it's what we think would be really fun, would be a really great way to recognize them. However, that can be modified.
The projections for revenues are 15,000 though, so in fact it's impossible. It can't be done.
Again, as I touched on very briefly, we hope to get sponsors, of course. So it's dependent and it's contingent upon getting these sponsors. Depending on the size of corporate sponsors you get for the gala, one of the items on your list could be contributing towards the gala, etc. So depending on what kind of funding you get, then of course you would modify the size and the grandeur, grandioseness of the gala accordingly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was an out-of-the-box idea. If they had to pick one idea, if we could pick the last.
See, guys, are you going to the gala tonight?
Yeah, we'll be there.
Oh, I see.
Cool. Thanks so much for your help and your patience.
Have a good one.
You too. If we compare to the last university just presented, they both had one big idea, and this one is more out of the box, more creative, and it's just gonna draw people in more. So I would pull out that sheet. And I'm also going to say right off the top, I don't remember what the La Plage one was, but it's definitely better than that. I think this one beat that, right?
This one is not La Plage, it's 180.
La Plage to me was below this. Like these girls didn't have the quantity, but first of all, the analysis was perfect. And like I loved the quantity, the quality, the takeaways. It was clear. It's a 9 for me. On the analysis. Compared to all the other ones that we saw today?
The conclusion they came to is general hires are important, which is weird because it's professionals. Oh yeah, okay, so then that does make sense.
Look, their numbers are totally irrealistic, but they were creative.
I know, but their analysis was not as strong as you're making it seem. I mean, it definitely wasn't as good as you're claiming for it to be.
Okay.
Okay. Hang on, let me just think. Because E right now is ahead of, E is ahead of the last school we saw. E is the guy.
The Plage.
La Plage, yeah.
Which I think is all that is.
Okay.
This is what I
Okay. So here's E. E is an 80. The last school we saw was about a 79. Okay, so let's say Plage, Haber's class, and this one. How do you rank those up to the bottom?
This one, Plage, Haber.
Really?
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest.
Their analysis was better, way better.
Who was?
E was had an awesome analysis. So.
Really? Can I see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. This afternoon was a lot tougher. A lot.
Ranking schools like 8 hours later, man, it's,
What?
yeah, this,
Yeah, I just try to.
this is the, yeah, so this is where you tell us that we have to hurry up, right?
Well, not hurry up, but then we can test it. 2A, you did that 8 points after you're done.
It was, I thought it was 7, okay.
It's 30 seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Sorry, 1 point per rhythm.
okay, so 8 points and 7 rounds.
Sounds good. Next week.
Oh, thank you, guys.
This is E, this is plage.
Can you see the? Yeah, it's a little better now. Well, I don't know.
Yes.
Was it really better?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So, there's structure. We gave E18 and we gave Haber's class 16.
Why do you call it that? Just call it L.
Okay, we gave L.
So they're in the middle. They're 17.
Okay. And skip right away, professionalism. I thought that was really good actually.
Yeah, that was amazing. It was one of the top ones.
I'll give it a 10.
Wow.
I would.
Okay.
You
Me
agree?
too. Yeah.
I think it was already a lot more fair.
Me too. I like it. Keep going.
Uh,
Content management.